Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. Trains.com just had a sale on K-Line products, and I got myself a nice big box. Just recently, Trains.com had a sale on K-Line products. I had been doing my best to not look. I really was. And then had that feeling that I needed to look. You know, sometimes you can't resist the pull, and you have to check it out. I mean, a sale's a sale. I was saving money, right? If I'm going to buy something on sale, I'm saving. So I did get some stuff. And this is a pretty big box. I know what I got. You're going to know what I got, but I don't know how good of a condition it's in, because I bought the cheapest versions that they had. So let's just tear into it, see what we got. The first car is this New York Central Albany coach. It looks like it's in great condition. And I've needed New York Central coaches. I had previously picked up from Trains while at York, I think, the New York Central observation car for like $20. So I've had that sitting here for a while now with no cars to go with it. And every once in a while I'd run it at the back of like my Penske cars or something, and it just felt wrong. I'm not a stickler for prototype, but I couldn't do it. So I've been looking for New York Central K-Line heavyweights for quite some time, and the coaches are usually too expensive. But they had a number of them that were in the $20 to $30 range, so I figured this might be the time to do it. I'm excited about this one. It's the baggage car. I really like the K-Line heavyweight cars. They're a good size, they got good detail, they're not too heavy, and I've been able to find a number of them at really good prices. The Lackawanna cars, I picked up 6 of them for a ridiculously low price. It might have been $100. I can't remember, it's been a while. The Penske cars I have, I did pay a little bit more for, and I don't regret it, but I should have been more patient, because I think at some point I probably would have found them more in my price range. I don't remember what I paid for them because I probably blocked that out, but probably double what I normally want to pay for a car like that. So to find the New York Central ones at a good price kind of balances that out as far as I'm concerned. Now, I could have gone for all coaches, but I think variety of cars makes for a more interesting train. So this next one is the Diner. It looks like it's in fabulous condition too. The only thing that looks like that's missing from these cars is the diaphragms in between them, and honestly, I don't think any of my K-Line heavyweights have them. There may have been diaphragms on the Lackawanna or some of the Lackawanna cars when I bought them, but I actually put those diaphragms on my K-Line Long Island Railroad set. That set's not even close to scale, it's an 027 set, but some of the cars I had got in that set had the diaphragms, and I just felt like that set needed them. I don't know why I feel like that set needs them and this set doesn't, but hey, that's just the way it is. To finish up the 4-car set that I picked up, the Chicago coach. Seems like the Diner wobbles a bit, but really they all look fantastic. I think it breaks out to about $30 a car. Considering they look as good as they do, I'm thrilled with that purchase. So with the already discounted price that Trains had these listed at, and then the 15% off that they were offering on all K-Line stuff that weekend, I think it's a fantastic deal. And now I don't need to look for these at York, which frees up the budget for more Trains. And then there's the observation that I'd already previously gotten from Trains. A whole train from Trains. You gotta love it. So considering I wasn't going to buy anything at all from this sale, I'm pretty happy with this. The only thing that would make me happier at this point is to watch it go around the layout.
The K-Line heavyweights are just about 18 inches long, which for a layout with 054 curves, it's about as big as you can really go. This Pennsylvania passenger car that's sitting next to it, which is about 20 inches long, is just a bit too much. So if the max you have is 54, I wouldn't go any bigger than an 18-inch car. And really, the 15-inch Williams cars look fantastic on a 54 turn. This longer car really does need a wider radius. It will run around my layout, but it hangs over a bit and tends to uncouple from the car in front of it. So you may have noticed while I was running it, or the little video after the train run, that there was a little bit of sparking happening. And it actually took me a lot longer to figure out than I'd like to admit. I was running the cars initially behind my post-war New York Central F3s, and they were running well for a number of laps. And then it got to the far end of the layout, and it would just stop. And I figured something derailed, or the E-unit inside my F3s was on the fritz. So I kept trying to figure out why the engine was stopping, and then eventually took the F3s off the layout and put the 783 Hudson. And it was running for a bit, and then it did the same thing. So then my brain jumped to the fact that it was not the engines that were the problem, thankfully, but my new New York Central heavyweight cars. The baggage car was tending to derail on one side. That may have just been a coincidence. So I took a couple cars off the train and just ran like 3 of them, tried to figure out what was causing the short. And at some point, I don't recall how much into it, I saw a flash under one of the cars. I took the shell off the car, which is held on by 6 screws on the bottom, 2 on each end and 2 in the middle. And then I disconnected the truck and actually fed the lights out of the base so I could really get a look at it. And I was expecting to find chafed wires somewhere here where it goes through the base, or somewhere under the truck here. I couldn't figure out how to get these trucks apart. And the only thing is like this rivet right here, and I didn't want to break it. Otherwise, I probably would have pulled the trucks completely apart and checked all the wires. But since I couldn't do that, I just kind of checked everything out, checked the wires, put it back together, put it on the layout. It ran a couple times, and then the same thing. At that point, I took the engine off the track, and I moved the cars around the turns slowly until I realized 2 of the 5 cars that I had were sparking under one of the trucks. I got that little bit of video that I showed you just a minute ago, and you could see it arcing between the truck and the track. And what I figured out was this whole plate is hot. This is center rail power through this whole thing, which makes no sense to me. And as I was looking, I was seeing these marks on the inside of some of these wheels. Why is that like that? And I realized that's probably what was arcing. And the problem was that the center axles on 2 of the cars, the wheels had come loose. So, I mean, the axle was fine, but the wheels were sliding in. And when they slid in, they were shorting against this plate. And that was the issue. And you can kind of see marks here on the metal and then also on the inside of the wheels. So what did I do to fix it? Well, I spread the wheels back out to about where they should go, and I just put a little drop of crazy glue right down there on the axle and let it dry. And that has done the job. If you have one of these cars, and I believe there are issues with the trucks over the years, there's a recall for some shorting and fire risk, which I think had to do with this part here, probably because of this plate being energized. So there are issues with these trucks. I think other people have had zinc pest issues where the trucks fall apart. Luckily, all these trucks are intact, or at least not obviously broken yet. What I have noticed, though, is that the wheels just aren't good. They're not round, or they've warped, whatever the case is. So a couple of the cars bounce as it rolls. You can see it not riding too smooth. And I'm not sure if it's this car. I think it's the Diner. it just rocks the whole time it's rolling. For about $25 a car, I'm not concerned about that really. You know, it's if I had spent 50 bucks per car and had this issue, I would be upset. But considering that they were all about 25 bucks and they all work, I can run this train now that I fixed those wheels without a problem. It's just when the train's going down the track like this, it's a little annoying. I think what I'm going to do is I have 6 Lackawanna cars. I don't really need to run 6, at least not all the time. I mean, 5 of these is really enough for my layout. I think I'm going to take wheels off one of those 6 cars and put it on the New York Central car with the worst trucks. I don't mind finding the root cause of issues and trying to find a cheap way to remedy it. But I just would feel bad if somebody else got these and they couldn't either figure out what was wrong or find a way to solve it. While I love the cars and I'm a little disappointed with the condition of the trucks, I'm still overall very happy with the purchase.
I don't know if the microphone in this phone will pick up the difference between the sounds of these two cars, but listen to how smooth the observation car rolls. But then listen to this, which I think is the worst car out of the set. The observation is definitely a lot quieter. The wheels on this diner car really aren't great. The wheels on the rest of the cars are okay. I had to repair or glue the middle axle on one of the coaches to keep that from shorting. But now that I've done that on 2 of the cars, I haven't had an issue. And I've been running these cars quite a bit because they just look amazing behind the F3s. As I'm filming the last part of this, I'm saying how they're running great now. And then I go to run the train and it stops and is shorted. And now I can't figure out why. It wasn't the engines, it was the cars. I checked all the wheels and none of them are touching. It's entirely possible I also have a wiring issue that is intermittently shorting. I'm just gonna have to keep running these until I can really figure out which car is causing the issue. So it seems the second coach and the diner both wobble, the diner being worse. I mean, I could be frustrated by this if I wanted to be, but I don't want to be. As long as they roll, I'm pretty happy. And, you know, if I find additional heavyweights, which I will, for, 20, 25, 30 bucks, it'll be even easier if it's, a car that I don't necessarily care for, but the wheels are in good shape. Because I'm not buying trucks, because the trucks alone, I would probably spend 40, 45 bucks on. So why do that when I can get a whole car for 30? So I'll keep my eye open. Luckily, York is coming up. Maybe I'll find some inexpensive or damaged heavyweights and can buy them for the trucks. I have hope. Either way, these things look fantastic.
Instead of swapping the trucks, I'm just going to take the bases off and swap the bases. And then I could still run this 6th Lackawanna car if I want to, but also my New York Central set will seem a little better. Okay, I've isolated, at least I think I've isolated another issue with the baggage car. Another fault with this design where this whole plate's hot. Look at where the clip is. So if when it's pulling, this moves a little bit, it's close enough that it makes contact and shorts out. Fortunately, the only thing I really need to do to fix that is rotate it a little bit. And now it won't touch. So with that now centered, it should be fine. So that's a couple things to check if you are looking at these K-Line heavyweight cars. Look for signs of shorting right where the spring and the clip for the coupler are, and look for shorting along the edges and also on the inside edges of the wheels. With the cars I had, the only wheels that were loose were these inner ones. Maybe that's due to somebody running it on too tight turns? I don't know, just a hypothesis. But once I spread those out and glued them, it's been okay. I think this is the last culprit. I'm going to go ahead and check the rest of the cars to make sure that they're positioned properly, and then I think I will be good. If I'm not, I'll certainly let you know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.